What's up, YouTube? Let me get this down. Much better. Alright, so Mueller report got released today. So we're going to read it. And we're going to play some Civ. Yeah, I mean, pretty cool. Let's start with some Civ. So let's do the expansion. I'm thinking siege units. I'm a fan. Let's do this. We'll do fractal, standard. Let's do. I tend to do Prince, but I win pretty easily, so I'm going to challenge myself. I've won at King 1 or 2 times. Let's go Emperor. Probably going to lose. Alright, while that loads, let's start on this. U.S. Department of Justice. Report on the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. Cool. Volume 1 of 2. Special Counsel Robert S. Mueller. Submitted pursuant to 28 CFR, this symbol, 600.8C. Washington, D.C., March 2019. We got a blank page. Table of contents. Wow. Introduction to Volume 1. Executive summary to Volume 1. The Special Counsel's investigation. Russian active measures social media campaign. Structure of the Internet Research Agency. Funding and oversight from Concord and Prigozhin. The IRA targets U.S. elections. The IRA ramps up operations as early as 2014, U.S. operations through IRA-controlled social media accounts, redacted, individualized accounts, U.S. operations involving political rallies, targeting and recruitment of U.S. persons, interactions and contacts with the Trump campaign promotion of IRA political materials, content with Trump campaign officials in connection to rallies, Russian hacking and dumping operations. GRU hacking directed at the Clinton campaign. GRU units target the Clinton campaign. Intrusions into the DCCC and DNC networks. Initial access. Implantation of malware on the DCCC and DNC networks, theft of documents from DNC and DCCC networks, dissemination of the hacked materials, DC leaks, Guccifer. Whoops, I just realized. Cool. Guccifer 2.0, use of WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks expressed opposition towards the Clinton campaign. WikiLeaks' first contact with Guccifer 2.0 and DC leaks. The GRU's transfer of stolen materials to WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks statements dissembling about the source of stolen materials, additional GRU cyber operations, summer and fall 2016 operations targeting Democrat-linked victims, intrusions. Oh, hi, Sumo. Intrusions targeting the administration. Targeting. Where am I? Sumo, you're distracting me with your tail. WikiLeaks statements dissembling something. What am I reading? Okay. The GRU's transfer of stolen materials to WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks statements dissembling about the source of stolen materials. Additional GRU cyber operations. Man, this is long. All right. I'm going to get back to Civ once I finish the table of contents. I mean, we only have 448 pages, so, we'll see. Additional GRU cyber operations. Summer and fall 2016 operations targeting Democratic-linked victims, intrusions targeting the administration of U.S. elections, Trump campaign and dissemination of hacked materials, redacted, background, contacts with the campaign about WikiLeaks, harm to ongoing matter. I guess that's what HOM stands for. So redacted because it will harm an ongoing matter. Very specific. WikiLeaks October 7th, 2016 release of stolen Podesta emails, Donald Trump Jr. interaction with WikiLeaks, other potential campaign interest in Russian hacked materials. Henry Okyanyansky, aka Henry Greenberg, campaign efforts to obtain deleted Clinton emails, Russian government links to and contacts with the Trump campaign. Campaign period, September 2015 to November 8th, 2016. Trump Tower Moscow project. Trump Tower Moscow venture with the Crocus Group. Communications with IC Expert Investment Company and Georgy Ritkila, however you say that. Letter of intent and contacts to Russian government. Trump signs the letter of intent on behalf of the Trump Organization, post-LOI contacts with individuals in Russia. Wow. Discussions about Russia travel by Michael Cohen or candidate Trump. Sater's overtures to Cohen to travel to Russia. Candidate Trump's opportunities to travel to Russia. George Papadopoulos. Origins of campaign work, initial Russia-related contacts, March 31st foreign policy team meeting. George Papadopoulos learns that Russia has dirt in the form of Clinton emails, Russia-related communications with the campaign, Trump campaign knowledge of dirt, additional George Papadopoulos content, Carter Page, background, origins of and early campaign work, Carter Page's July 2016 trip to Moscow, later campaign work and removal from the campaign, Dmitry Simes and the Center for National Interests, CNI and Dmitry Simes connect with the Trump campaign, National Interests host a foreign policy speech at the Mayflower Hotel, Jeff Sessions post-speech interactions with CNI. What is CNI? I don't know. Jared Kushner's continuing contacts with Simes. June 9th, 2016 meeting at Trump Tower. Setting up the June 9th meeting. Outreach to Donald Trump Jr. Awareness of the meeting within the campaign. The events of June 9th, 2016. Arrangements for the meeting. Conduct of the meeting. Post-June 9th events. Events at the Russian Republican National Convention. Ambassador Kislyak's encounters with Senator Sessions and J.D. Gordon the week of the RNC. Change to Republican Party platform, post-convention contacts with Kislyak. Ambassador Kislyak invites J.D. Gordon to breakfast at the ambassador's residence. Senator Sessions' September 2016 meeting with Ambassador Kislyak. Paul Manafort's ties to Russia and Ukraine. Oleg Deripaska political consulting work. Konstantin Kilimnik. Context during Paul Manafort's time with the Trump campaign. Paul Manafort joins the campaign. Paul Manafort campaign period contacts. Paul Manafort's 2 campaign period meetings with the Konstantin Kilimnik in the United States. Post-resignation activities. Post-election and transit. How much longer is this? All right, we only got like a page and a half left. Post-election and transition period contacts. Immediate post-election activity. Outreach from the Russian government. high-level encouragement of contacts through alternative channels. Kirill Dmitriev's transition-era outreach to the incoming administration. Background. Kirill post-election contacts with the incoming administration. Brought to you by Juul. Juul. It's liquid candy for your brain. That gets vaporized, so it goes directly to your brain. It's nice. Very healthy. Eric Prince and Kirill Dmitriev meet in God, I'm so bad at pronouncing. If anyone knows a speech pathologist, I need help. Blah, blah, blah. Eric Prince and Kirill Dmitriev meet in George Nader and Eric Prince arrange Kelly's, how do you say that word? Meeting with Dmitriev. Kelly's meetings. Eric Prince meeting with Steve Bannon after Kelly's trip. Kirill Dmitriev post-election contact with Rich Gerson regarding U.S.-Russian relations. Ambassador Kislyak's meeting with Jared Kushner and Michael Flynn in Trump Tower following the election. Jared Kushner's meeting with Sergei Gorkov. Peter Evans' outreach efforts to the transition team. Carter Page contact with Deputy Prime Minister Arkady Dvorkich. Contact with and through Michael T. Flynn. United Nations vote on Israeli settlements. U.S. sanctions against Russia. Prosecution and declination decisions. Russian active measures, social media campaign. Russian hacking and dumping operations, Section 1030, computer intrusion conspiracy. Background, charging decision A's to redacted harm ongoing matter. Potential Section 130 violation by blank personal privacy. Russian government outreach and contacts. Potential coordination, conspiracy and collusion. Potential coordination, foreign agent statutes, FARA and 18 U.S.C. Symbol 950. I guess that's Section 950. Governing law, application, campaign finance, overview of governing law, application to June 9th Trump Tower meeting, thing of value element, willfulness, difficulties in valuing promised information, application to WikiLeaks, harm ongoing matter. I'm guessing probably because they just arrested Julian Assange. Willfulness, constitutional considerations, analysis, harm to ongoing matter. False statements and obstruction of investigation. Overview of governing law. Application to certain individuals. George Papadopoulos, redacted for personal privacy. Michael Flynn, Michael Cohen, harm to ongoing matter. Jeff Sessions, others interviewed during investigation. All right, cool. Well, we got through the table of contents. Introduction to Volume 1. And with that, let's get back to the matter at hand. The Suleiman Ottoman Empire.
This river has floodplains, which means it has flooded before, and might burst its banks again. A flood along this river could happen at any point in the future. This presents us with risk.
I like this spot.
Civilization has accomplished something historic, worthy of being celebrated and remembered.
Alright, so we got a desert over here. You know, we're not seeing much. Early game is pretty boring. You know, it kind of mirrors the early Mueller report, just the, table of contents. Not the most exciting thing in the world. But, what are you going to do? Whoa, one person watching. Who the fuck is watching this? Wow, okay, so we got some amber. Amber's actually a very good luxury resource. Oh, another ocean over here. And a volcano.
We have discovered a city-state. Establishing diplomatic relations with them will surely be beneficial.
Let's move this over a little bit. There we go. Ah, my girlfriend comes
There
in
are
to view.
several different types of city-state. Reconnaissance units.
We just got through the table of contents. My single viewer is excitedly waiting for the introduction to Volume 1.
Yes.
Yes.
How many pages is it?
It is 448 pages. I was going to print it, but I'm an environmentalist, for the record. Do you want to talk to the people? Hello. ASMR.
No. Hi. I don't know.
There's only one person.
Oh, well, hello.
Yeah, I don't know who it is.
I didn't even know this game had sound.
Nice, we got a free scout. I always turn the sound off.
Oh, that's why.
But for, the YouTube viewing audience, I feel like they deserve some background music.
It's catchy.
Alright, so we're going to play Civ until I get a second settlement, and then we'll get back to the Mueller report. Actually, that seems like too much. Let's do it until we decide not to.
Wow.
Gross.
We're so gross.
Who would burp on live YouTube with a whole one person watching?
Nasty. Well, I'll leave you be. I'm gonna watch.
I'm bored. I want to get back to the Mueller report. All right. This report is submitted to Attorney General pursuant to 28 CFR section 600.8 parentheses C, which states that at the conclusion of the special counsel's work, he ... shall provide the Attorney General a confidential report explaining the prosecution or declination. How do you say that word?
Which one?
Declination? Declination?
Declination.
Declination decisions. Whoop. The special counsel reached. The Russian government interfered in the 2016 presidential election in sweeping and systematic fashion. Wow. Strong language from Mr. Mueller. Evidence of the Russian government operations began to surface in mid-2016. In June, the Democratic National Committee and its cyber response team publicly announced that the Russian hackers had compromised its computer network. Releases of hacked materials, hacks that public reporting soon attributed to the Russian government, began that same month. Additional releases followed in July through the organization WikiLeaks, with further releases in October and November. In late July 2016, soon after WikiLeaks' first release of stolen documents, a foreign government contacted the FBI about a May 2016 encounter with Trump campaign foreign policy advisor George Papadopoulos. Papadopoulos had suggested to a representative of that foreign government, the Russians, that the Trump campaign had received indications from Russian government that it could assist the campaign through an anonymous release of information damaging to Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. That information prompted the FBI on July 31st, 2016 to open an investigation into whether individuals associated with the Trump campaign were coordinating with the Russian government in its interference activities. That fall, two federal agencies jointly announced that the Russian government directed recent compromises of emails from U.S. persons and institutions, including U.S. political organizations, and these thefts and disclosures were intended to interfere with the U.S. election process. After the election, in late December 2016, the United States imposed sanctions on Russia for having interfered in the election. By early 2017, several congressional committees were examining Russia's interference in the election. Would you do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
Could you get me a kombucha from the mini fridge?
Yeah, is there a specific one you want?
Dealer's choice. Thank you.
No problem.
And there's a chair in Jeff's room if you want to join me.
I might grab
Within the executive branch, these investigatory efforts ultimately led to the May 2017 appointment of Special Counsel Robert S. Mueller III. The order appointing the Special Counsel authorized him to investigate the Russian government's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election, including any links or coordination between the Russian government and individuals associated with the Trump campaign. As set forth in detail in this report, the Special Counsel's investigation established that Russia interfered in the 2016 presidential election principally through two operations. First, a Russian entity carried out a social media campaign that favored presidential candidate Donald J. Trump and disparaged presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. Second, a Russian intelligence service conducted computer intrusion operations against entities, employees, and volunteers working on the Clinton campaign, and then released stolen documents. The investigation also identified numerous
Here's your kombucha.
Thank you. Ooh, Watermelon Wonder. GT's Synergy Organic Kombucha. This is one of our not sponsors. Make your gut bacteria work for you. Drink some rotten tea with fruit juice in it.
Make gut bacteria great again?
Make gut bacteria great again, yes. As set forth in detail in this report, the Special Counsel's investigation established that Russia interfered in the 2016 presidential election principally through two operations. First, a Russian entity carried out a social media campaign that favored presidential candidate Donald J. Trump and disparaged presidential candidate Hillary R. Clinton. How come they give Donald Trump his middle initial but not Hillary? Seems kind of slanted.
What's Robert Mueller's middle name?
Swan. Robert S. Mueller. Swan Miller.
Is it really?
It is. You want to see? You want to?
Swan?
I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Robert S. Mueller. Robert Swan Miller III.
Jesus.
As usual, I am correct. I'm always correct. I've never been wrong about anything my whole life. All right. Just for the record. Where am I? All right. Hillary Rodham Clinton. Second, a Russian intelligence service conducted computer intrusion operations against entities, employees, and volunteers working on the Clinton campaign, then released stolen documents. The investigation also identified numerous links between the Russian government and the Trump campaign, although the investigation established that the Russian government perceived it would benefit from a Trump presidency and worked to secure that outcome, and that the campaign expected it would benefit electorally from information stolen and released through Russian efforts. The investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. Yeah, but some things don't need to be said to be known. Like, if I have a job and my boss doesn't explicitly tell me that I can also do work for a competitor, it's kind of known that I shouldn't.
So wait, what are they even saying here?
They're saying that Russia hacked the election, interfered in the U.S. election, and that Trump's campaign knew about it and was open to the information they received because they thought it would help them, but that somehow that doesn't constitute criminal conspiracy.
Is it because they never outright asked for it?
I mean, Donald Trump did ask for it in public on live TV, but he never did it maybe in emails. Below we describe the evidentiary considerations underpinning statements about the results of our investigation and the Special Counsel's charging decisions, and we then provide an overview of the two volumes of our report. The report describes actions and events that the Special Counsel's Office found to be supported by the evidence collected in our investigation. In some instances, the report points out the absence of evidence or conflicts in the evidence about a particular fact or event. In other instances, when substantial, credible evidence enabled the office to reach a conclusion with confidence. The report states that the investigation established that certain actions or events occurred. A statement that the investigation did not establish particular facts does not mean there was no evidence of those facts.
So, now, are they saying that it's like those two things were there, but correlation doesn't equal causation?
They're saying that there's not evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, I guess indictment doesn't matter. There's not probable cause that they coordinated. And so...
So it's okay for them to have accepted the information
It's basically like...
without trying to coordinate with them to get it?
If you're my girlfriend and I rob a bank and you know I'm robbing a bank and you're supporting me robbing a bank and you stand to benefit from me robbing a bank because you'll get some of the money,
But I'm not
that doesn't
outright.
mean you actually conspired with me to rob the bank.
Okay.
Which I don't know if I agree with, but
No.
all right, let's take a break. See how my civilization is doing. Zanzibar. Where is Zanzibar?
I thought clay must feel happy in the good potter's hand.
Thanks, Sean Bean. This is my job. Early game is pretty
It would seem we have finally tracked the barbarian raiders plaguing these lands to their source.
wonderful.
Our city continues to prosper.
We should go through AL.com in the comments.
What's AOL?
AL.com.
AL? Oh, like Alabama's newspaper? Yeah, I would like to do that. That might be the next episode. Jefferson reads
Enacting
news
new policies
comments.
in our government
I am
can be
the
of great
Alabama
benefit.
It is not wisdom, but authority that makes a law.
Ooh.
Alright, I'm gonna go watch Beyonce's Homecoming.
Okay. You're gonna watch the whole thing?
I already started it.
I
I
think
probably
that's...
won't finish it today, but...
Well, I'll be here doing the most...
The sea seemed to roll back upon itself
Mount Vesuvius!
and to be driven from its banks by the convulsive motion of the earth. It is certain
I'll be
at
here
least
doing the most
shore
boring thing I
was
can imagine.
considerably enlarged, and several sea animals were left upon it. On the other side, a black and dreadful cloud, broken with rapid, zigzag flashes, revealed behind it various shaped masses of flame.
Wow.
Through exploration, we have discovered a natural wonder.
Alright, so we're probably gonna research... foreign trade.
We have trained our first ranged unit, capable.
So we're gonna take out these barbarians, and we're gonna have another city pretty soon. The Inca. So we're just exploring. We're, you know, looking for shit. Seeing what the land around us looks like. We just met Robert the Bruce of Scotland. Jewel, it's good for your brain. Oh, we need to send delegations to these idiots.
When you find yourself in a hole,
Oh, I wanted to hear Sean Bean, I'm sorry. No one ever says anything in the chat. I guess I only have one person. A lot of amber around here. Amber, 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 amber. A lot of amber. So what I think I'm going to try to do is get some cities in here and get all these ambers, because Suleiman the Ottoman has a luxury resource bonus where luxury resources provide amenities to the city they're in. And so if I have a bunch of the same, then I can use diplomatic shit to we're going to research writing so we can build a campus and start getting some science. But anyway, so if I have a lot of amber, I can also go into kind of the diplomacy shit, wherever that is, and fuck with people in order to get more out of my amber. If you have a lot of the same luxury resource, it helps to do that.
This military unit has proven themselves.
A lot of rainforest that I'm going to cut down.
It is best to use caution when moving.
So we're looking, I saw a barbarian scout, so there's another barbarian shit over here that we're going to look for. I think we want to build a builder. I guess I should talk about why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I'm moving the settler over there because I think it's a good distance between cities, and, you know, I'm trying to think ahead. Alright, let's get back to the Mueller report. Wow, I should probably send them a delegation. The Inca don't like me already. Unfriendly. Wonderful. Ah, there's someone. Once we get the second city built, I'll get back to the Mueller report.
We have the opportunity to develop.
Cool.
As our civic knowledge grows, so do our methods.
Every nation lives by exchanging.
We have recently gained advanced.
Writing means sharing.
This tech tree, I think we actually probably want animal husbandry. I like to have a balanced shit.
May I make a suggestion?
Trader. Alright, cool. We're gonna get back to the Mueller report. Alright. In evaluating evidence about collective action of multiple individuals constituted a crime, we applied the framework of conspiracy law, not the concept of collusion. In doing so, the office recognized that the word collude was used in communications with the acting attorney general confirming certain aspects of the investigation scope, and that the term has frequently been invoked in public reporting about the investigation. But collusion is not a specific offense or theory of liability found in the United States Code, nor is it a term of fact. Nor is it a term of fact. Where am I? Nor is it a term of art in federal criminal law. For those reasons, the office's focus in analyzing questions of joint criminal liability was on conspiracy as defined in federal law. In connection with that analysis, we addressed the factual question whether the members of the Trump campaign coordinated, a term that appears in the appointment order, with the Russian election interference activities. Like collusion, coordination does not have a settled definition in federal criminal law. We understood coordination to require an agreement, tacit or express, between the Trump campaign and the Russian government on election interference. That requires more than the two parties taking actions that were informed by or responsive to the other's actions or interests. We applied the term coordination in that sense when stating in the report that the investigation did not establish that the Trump campaign coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. The report on our investigation consists of 2 volumes. Volume 1 describes the factual results of the special counsel's investigation of Russia's interference in the 2016 presidential election and its interactions with the Trump campaign. Section 1 describes the scope of the investigation. Sections 2 and 3 describe the principal ways Russia interfered in the 2016 election. Section 4 describes links between the Russian government and individuals associated with the Trump campaign. Section 5 sets forth the special counsel's charging decisions. Volume 2 addresses the president's actions towards the FBI's investigation into Russia's interference in the 2016 presidential election and related matters, and his actions towards the special counsel's investigation. Volume 2 separately states its framework and the considerations that guided that investigation. Russian social media campaign. Executive summary to Volume 1. The Internet Research Agency, IRA, carried out the earliest Russian interference operation identified by the investigation, a social media campaign designed to provoke and amplify political and social discord in the United States. The IRA was based in St. Petersburg, Russia, and received funding from Russian oligarch Yevgeny Prigozhin and companies he controlled. Prigozhin is widely reported to have ties to Russian President Vladimir Putin, redacted, harm to ongoing matter. In mid-2014, the IRA sent employees to the United States on intelligence gathering missions with instructions, harm to ongoing matter, redacted. Hold on, I just want, let's see. Gotta see something. What is the other thing? I can't do a link. How do you do a link on Instagram? Jesus. Alright. The IRA later used social media accounts and interest groups to sow discord in the United States and the U.S. political system through what it termed information warfare. The campaign evolved from a generalized program designed in 2014 and 2015 to undermine the U.S. electoral system to a targeted operation that by early 2016 favored candidate Trump and disparaged candidate Clinton. The IRA's operation also included the purchase of political advertisements on social media in the names of U.S. persons and entities, as well as the staging of political rallies inside the United States. To organize those rallies, IRA employees posed as U.S. grassroots entities and persons and made contact with Trump supporters and Trump campaign officials in the United States. The investigation did not identify evidence that any U.S. person conspired or coordinated with the IRA. Section 2 of this report details... So they're just idiots that didn't realize they were being used by the Russians. Alright, I can believe that. Section 2 of this report details the office's investigation of the Russian social media campaign, Russian hacking operations. At the time that the IRA operation began to focus on supporting candidate Trump in early 2016, the Russian government employed a second form of interference, cyber intrusions, hacking, and releases of hacked materials damaging to the Clinton campaign. The Russian intelligence service known as Main Intelligence Directorate of the General Staff of the Russian Army, GRU, carried out these operations. In March 2016, the GRU began hacking the email accounts of Clinton campaign volunteers and employees, including campaign chairman John Podesta. In April 2016, the GRU hacked into the computer networks of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, DCCC, and the Democratic National Committee, DNC. The GRU stole hundreds of thousands of documents from the compromised email accounts and networks. At the time that the DNC announced in mid-June 2016 the Russian government's role in hacking its network, the GRU began disseminating stolen materials through the fictitious online personas DC Leaks and Guccifer 2.0. The GRU later released additional materials through the organization WikiLeaks. The presidential campaign of Donald J. Trump, Trump Campaign, or Campaign, showed interest in WikiLeaks releases of documents, welcomed their potential damage to candidate Clinton. Beginning in June 2016, redacted harm to ongoing matter, forecast to senior campaign officials that WikiLeaks would, I'm guessing that's Julian Assange's name, would release information damaging to candidate Clinton. WikiLeaks' first release came in July 2016, around the same time candidate Trump announced that he hoped Russia would recover emails describing as missing from a private server used by Clinton when she was Secretary of State. He later said that he was speaking sarcastically. Cool. WikiLeaks began release redacted harm to ongoing matter. Redacted. WikiLeaks began releasing Podesta's stolen emails on October 7, 2016, less than 1 hour after a U.S. media outlet released video considering damage to candidate Trump. Section 3 of this report details the office's investigation into the Russian hacking operations as well as other efforts by Trump campaign supporters to obtain Clinton-related emails. Russian contacts with the campaign. The social media campaign and the GRU hacking operations. The social media campaign and the GRU hacking operations coincided with a series of contacts between Trump campaign officials and individuals with ties to the Russian government. The office investigated whether those contacts reflected or resulted in the campaign conspiring or coordinating with Russia in its election interference activities. Although the investigation established that the Russian government perceived it would benefit from a Trump presidency and worked to secure that outcome, and that the campaign expected it would benefit electorally from information stolen and released through Russian efforts, the investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. Why can't I scroll? There we go. The Russian contacts consisted of business connections, offers of assistance to the campaign, invitations for candidate Trump and Putin to meet in person, invitations for campaign officials and representatives of the Russian government to meet, and policy positions seeking improved U.S.-Russian relations. Section 4 of this report details the contacts between Russia and the Trump campaign during the campaign and transition periods, most salient of which are summarized below in chronological order. Some of the earliest contacts were made in connection with a Trump Organization real estate project in Russia known as Trump Tower Moscow. Candidate Trump signed a letter of intent for Trump Tower Moscow by November 2015, and in January 2016, Trump Organization executive Michael Cohen emailed and spoke about the project with the Office of Russian Government Press Secretary Dmitry Peskov. The Trump Organization pursued the project through at least June 2016, including by considering travel to Russia by Cohen and candidate Trump. Spring 2016, campaign foreign policy advisor George Papadopoulos made early contact with Joseph Mifsud, a London-based professor who had connections to Russia and traveled to Moscow in April 2016. Immediately upon his return to London from the trip, Mifsud told Papadopoulos that the Russian government had dirt on Hillary Clinton in the form of thousands of emails. 1 week later, where am I? I keep losing my place. In the first week of May 2016, Papadopoulos suggested to a representative of a foreign government that the Trump campaign had received indications Still only one person watching. That's fine. 1 week later, In the first week of May 2016, Papadopoulos suggested to a representative of a foreign government that the Trump campaign had received indications from the Russian government that it could assist the campaign through the anonymous release of information damaging to candidate Clinton. Throughout that period of time, and for several months thereafter, Papadopoulos worked with... I'm going to close my door. Alright, Papadopoulos suggested... Okay, where am I? Throughout that period of time and for several months thereafter, Papadopoulos worked with Mifsud and 2 Russian nationals to arrange a meeting between the campaign and the Russian government. No meeting took place. Summer 2016. Russian outreach to the Trump campaign continued into the summer of 2016 as candidate Trump was becoming the presumptive Republican nominee for president. On June 9, 2016, for example, a Russian lawyer met with senior Trump campaign officials Donald Trump Jr., Jared Kushner, and campaign chairman Paul Manafort to deliver what the email proposing the meeting had described as official documents and information that would incriminate Hillary. The matters were offered to Trump Jr. as part of Russia and its government's support for Mr. Trump. How would you not fucking alert the FBI if the Russian government tells you something like that? Like, that's fucking crazy. Alright, where am I? Russian outreach to the Trump campaign continued into the summer of 2016 as candidate Trump was becoming the presumptive Republican nominee for president. On June 9, 2016, for example, a Russian lawyer met with senior Hillary. The materials were offered to Trump Jr. as part of Russia and its government support. Okay. Among other documents. In July 2016, campaign foreign policy advisor Carter Page traveled in his personal capacity to Moscow and gave the keynote address at the New Economics School. Carter Page is an idiot. What the fuck is the New Economics School? Page had lived and worked in Russia between 2003 and 2007. After returning to the United States, Page became acquainted with at least 2 Russian intelligence officers, one of whom was later charged in 2015 with conspiracy to act as an unregistered agent of Russia. Page's July 2016 trip to Moscow and his advocacy for pro-Russian foreign policy drew media attention. The campaign then distanced itself from Page and by late September 2016 removed him from the campaign. July 2016 was also the month WikiLeaks first released emails stolen by the GRU from the DNC. On July 22nd, 2016, WikiLeaks posted thousands of internal DNC documents revealing information about the Clinton campaign. Sorry. You gotta check your messages, even when you're live, because I don't care about my audience, apparently. Within days, there was public reporting that the U.S. intelligence agencies had high confidence that the Russian government was behind the theft of emails and documents from the DNC. And within a week of the release, a foreign government informed the FBI about its May 2016 interaction with Papadopoulos and his statement that the Russian government could assist the Trump campaign. On July 31st, 2016, based on the foreign government reporting, the FBI opened an investigation into potential coordination between the Russian government and individuals associated with the Trump campaign. Separately, on August 2nd, 2016, campaign chairman Paul Manafort met in New York City with his longtime business associate Konstantin Kilimnik, who the FBI assesses to have ties to Russian intelligence. Kilimnik requested the meeting to deliver in person a peace plan for Ukraine that Manafort acknowledged to the special counsel's office was a backdoor way for Russia to control part of eastern Ukraine. Both men believed the plan would require candidate Trump's assent to succeed, were he to be elected president. They also discussed the status of the Trump campaign and Manafort's strategy for winning Democratic votes in Midwestern states. Months before that meeting, Manafort had caused internal polling data to be shared with Kilmenik, and the sharing continued for some period of time after their August meeting. How is this not coordination? What the fuck am I reading? How do you conclude this is not coordination when they're sharing things? There's an underlying understanding that Trump winning will help Russia take part of eastern Ukraine, and that they're literally coordinating with the campaign chairman for Trump. How do you not conclude that that is not coordinating? Mueller, you really let me down here. Your conclusions are crazy. Alright, let's take a break. Back to Civ. Where's my fucking mouse? There it is. Alright. Kill that bitch. Alright, let's... Building a farm. Let's build amber. Gilgamesh. We're gonna send him a fucking shit too. So he fucked up with the Inca. Maybe we should give him some stuff. Nah, we don't have anything to give him.
Our city-state neighbors have made...
I am fond of pigs. Dogs look up to us. Cats look down on us. Pigs treat us as equals.
Great quote, Sean Bean. The coast.
Without craftsmanship, Inspiration is a mere reed shaken in the wind.
So this Mueller report thing is kind of, I don't know, it's
Just as
kinda-
our citizens have faith in your leadership.
cool. Cool. It's like, I don't know, it's a little, it's like they're saying there's all this coordination, but it doesn't constitute a conspiracy. I don't know. To me, it's a little crazy. What are we at, an hour? I need a break. Alright, I'll sign on later to read the rest of the report and continue playing Civ, or maybe a different game. I love you, YouTube. I'm so happy that in the past days I've gotten 4 more subscribers, and I have 60 subscribers. On my way to 1,000, so I can start mobile streaming again, because they cut me off from doing that. I guess they don't like me reading the newspaper. That's why I'm playing games. Anyway, I love you, YouTube, and I will see you later today.